Hello, it's me again with another Fix It video for you, and on the bench today we've got a Sony DTC-750 DAT Recorder, and as you can see I've got the top off already. Needed to have a little look inside because there was on the back corner, where are we, there was quite a lot of corrosion and stuff on there, and I thought, right, before I even get started to look at this as a video, is it even going to be worth it if it's full of corrosion? Let me just show you what I found on the inside. Down this bottom corner of the chassis you can see that it's obviously got a lot of corrosion there, or liquid, so it may be that this board here is damaged beyond repair, but it looks like it might just be that corner. I think the rest of it seems to be okay. It's completely dead at the minute, but one thing I did notice on the power supply, there's a big capacitor here, C907, and the top of it is bulging just on there, so I'm pretty sure that probably the power supply is dead, but it may be that the whole lot dies if this circuit board down here has died away as well. There is a backup battery which doesn't appear to have leaked. It's here at the front on a circuit board, you can just see it here. So I think I'm going to just treat it as a dead power supply to start with and see what else we can find on this. Luckily there is a service manual for it, and looking at the power supply, it's a fairly standard one in that you've got a transformer here, and you've basically got a mains transformer, bridge rectifiers and regulators all on this circuit board, so it should be a fairly simple power supply repair. If this capacitor is basically dead, it could be that it's taken out a thermal fuse or something. There is an internal fuse here, and that checks okay, so my preliminary checks before I started the video seem to be okay. So let's press on and have a little look. We've got four connectors on the out, five actually, well that's an internal one between the transformer and there, but the output ones are on this connector here, and they look to be possibly on here what I thought was oil. It's unplugged at the minute, so I'm not going to chance it, but it certainly seemed to be oil, and I would guess that probably what's happened at some stage or other, somebody has gone to work on this and has either thrown some oil at it or the transformer has leaked. I can't see anything, but there definitely is an oily residue on that board, as you can see on my finger there. It's definitely coming off. So I think what I may do for safety's sake, to actually take that board out and check the board over first before I actually do any repairs on it, and check that capacitor for sure, and hopefully if that is all at fault, we can work on it there and get it back. So I'm going to take it apart. It looks like it's fairly simple to get this board out. There's a heatsink up the back here, two screws on the outside, there's a transformer connector, well, there's a power connector board here, and there's two screws, possibly three, I can't quite see down that corner, holding that circuit board in. So if once we get that out, hopefully we should be able to clean the board off. But I did notice there was sort of a bit of a sheen elsewhere on here, so if the worst case scenario is that when this was working, somebody thought, oh, it's squeaking, I'll spray some oil in here, and we find the whole DAT deck is completely covered in oil. It doesn't look like it from here, but that's a possibility as well. Okay, so I'm going to get this board out and have a little look and see what I can find. Right, I've taken the power supply subboard out of the cabinet, left the transformer part in, and here is the subboard, and as you can see, you can just about make out on there that this capacitor here has bulged, and if you remember I said that it felt a bit greasy, and sure enough you can actually see quite clearly there is some grease or possibly oil. But when you look underneath, it gets even worse. Look at this. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it looks like some kind of black mold, possibly. Yeah, and it's eaten away the green. It's actually eaten away into the circuit board. I think it's actually eaten into the PCB layer, whatever that is. So I'm going to give that all a bit of a clean. There's all the oil that you can see there. Definitely oil or grease of some kind. Wherever this was used, it's actually coated with oil, so that all needs a good clean first. So I'm going to get on and clean that, and hopefully get it to a position where I can take that capacitor out and check the other components. The two main regulators, they were stuck to the side of the back side panel of the chassis, so they came away once I removed the heatsink, which was mounted on the outside. So it may be that they're at fault as well, but I quite suspect this capacitor there with a big bulge in it as being the cause of the problem, but it certainly needs a clean first. So I'll get on with that and come back to you after I've done the cleaning. Right, well, it seems my guess of oil being spread all over was incorrect. It turns out to be the electrolyte from the bottom of this capacitor C907. That's what's basically leaked all over the board. I've cleaned off as much as I possibly can off the circuit board, and with a toothbrush and lots of alcohol, and I've cleaned off there, but I can't get rid of this black stuff. As soon as I scrape it away, it basically just takes the paint off of there, and I think it's probably going to continue to eat through. So what I'm going to probably have to do, as you can see there, I'm cleaning where this black stuff is. It's taken the paint off and it's eaten away quite a lot of the copper. So where I'm going to have to just basically go over the whole of this with a screwdriver to scrape away what's left of this, and then bridge it with solder joints and so on, and hopefully the circuit board hasn't been too far damaged, but hopefully if I can clean it like that, as you can see, just any bits of dark black are just basically eaten away the copper underneath. So it's actually acted a bit like an oxide, eating away both the foil, etc. So I'm going to have to go over all of that, but that's basically, I'm pretty sure that's the main reason why we've got lots of gunk all over the circuit board. So here we are with this Sony digital tape deck, a DTC-750, which I started work on 2.5 years ago. Then something happened, I can't remember what. It was probably a family issue. It got boxed up, put to one side, then it got shoved in the shed. Oh, all kinds of issues. But anyway, I'm back with it now. So following on from the last video, which I managed to find and recover, because some of the videos, bits that I'd filmed were damaged, so I managed to recover those. But anyway, what I've found, if you remember, it was only a few seconds ago. So what I found was that the capacitor had leaked all across it, and there it was. There was also a resistor burnt out and a regulator which was faulty. I didn't get on the video to work out why or to record why those are, but anyway, I've replaced the capacitor. I've had to rebuild. Let me just look at the close-up cam here, and you can see I've had to rebuild the circuit board quite extensively with bits of wire, having cleaned off all the leakage of everything that was on there, and I've refitted the capacitor. The regulator, which is an encapsulated one like this 5-volt one, is a 6-volt regulator. I could not find a exact version for it, so I'm going to have to use a standard 6-volt regulator and insulate it using a mica washer like that. Because it was clamped in place on the old one, that clamp goes against it just like so, but I can't use that to hold this one in place exactly. so I will use it, but what I'll do is I've put a screw through, and I've drilled a hole in the back. In fact, I've drilled 2 holes in the back because they were measured wrong. But anyway, it's now measured correctly, and the hole will be there for it. So I'm going to mount that in, and the resistor that burnt out was just here, which thankfully I've got the service manual, so I managed to find that one. So what I'm going to do now is to go back to fitting this in and hoping that when power up it'll actually work. So let's put it in place. So I'm pretty certain that everything is okay on this board as well as it can be. The other thing that I can't remember whether I showed on the earlier video was that there was an awful lot of what appeared to be corrosion down this bottom edge here on the board there, because obviously you can see that, you know, it's been stored somewhere where it got all damp and is all corroded down there. Basically there's no real damage to the circuit down there. I think originally this is the bit that I lost. I showed taking this all off and cleaning it all up and putting it back, but I'm pretty certain that board is okay. No loss of integrity of all the connections. That's all okay. No components are faulty. Everything else seems to be okay. So hoping that putting this power supply in will make it start work, and we shall be saying we have fixed this machine. So let's just pop these screws back in here. On there. Now I'm just going to bend these 2 regulators out a little bit. Perhaps I should have put some heatsink compound on them before I put them in, but I didn't. Silly me. So I shall just bend. Right, having put that down there, I shall put this heatsink, this insulator, okey-dokey, and then we'll pick up the little insulator. Put that in place. Now if I put my finger on it like that, then I can get the screw through. Through the insulator as well. So I've just realised something. Where I've done this, I'm not going to be able to get this clamp. Oh, I might be able to. Might have to make this screw a shorter length. Let's just tweak the insulator around a little bit. Like so. I'll just nip it up at the back here. And that goes on there. Now will that drop onto that Transistor, no it won't, but what we can do, is we're not really bothered about this clamp for the other regulator, which has now got trapped on something. We can just bend that out of the way for the time being, like so. That should allow that to still work for the other one. There it is. And then we put 2 screws through from the back to hold that in place. There we are. We can just double check through there. Even if it is touching, it shouldn't make any difference. Now we can put the connectors back. And this one, where does that goes over there? There we are. So we're just left with this one, which I think is test points, because there's no wires, cables for it. Okie dokie. Right. Well, it's going to do one of 2 things, isn't it? It's either going to work or it's not. Oh, sorry, possibly 3 things. The third thing is it goes bang, and lots of magic smoke is emitted. Power switch is off at the front. Mains is applied. Power on. Oh, the head turned. We have a display. And we have an open. And a close. And an open again. My goodness. Do you know what? I think it might even work. Oh! Better see if we've got a DAT tape. I think I have somewhere. Right, I found my DAT tapes, and I found one that I remember that I had with no tape in it, just for testing the mechanism, because I don't want to put a tape in here, put a tape in there and it goes and screws up the tape. So if I put the test tape in there and then press close, it's threading up. It's saying close. Right, obviously it can't find any tape, so it's saying nothing. So we have a DAT tape, which I have no idea what's on it. Let's put it in there, press close. And it's come up, it's read some tape. Oh, read something off the tape. Do you know what? I think we're going to have a working machine. Let's plug it into audio amplifier. See what we get out of it. Line out right and left. Switch the amplifier to source 2 and press play. Wow! Bit of music there. Still playing. Right, well that was an interesting few minutes. Unfortunately, I noticed the camera was jittering while I was doing something, so I stopped it and restarted everything and then forgot to press record. But basically, I think when we left I was testing and playback of a tape. Well, that tape actually stopped working and then it wouldn't rewind, and I then thought, okay, what's the problem there? So I looked at the tape and found that it had actually broken. The tape had broken, so I had to take that tape apart and mend it, take it back to the very beginning and splice it onto the leader. So I've thrown away a little bit of the tape. So I've got it back in here and played it, and it was playing okay, and it still does play okay. But I then thought, okay, I need to do a recording. So I got my old DAT mini disc out, hooked that into the analog input, which we've got set for analog input, and started a recording on program number 20. You can see the program number there. It says program number 6. Well, with this recorder, what you can do is you can dial in a track number, recording number, whatever, it's program number they call it, and then press the AMS key and it will go straight there. So if I go 20, it should whiz forward, which it's doing. Now, when I was rewinding, it was rewinding slowly and then clicking, and I think there's possibly, you can hear, there might be a wheel on a rubber tire, and it's possibly got a little indentation because it's been sat there for ages and ages. I don't know. So I may have to take the deck out and have a look at it. It is working, but I'm pretty sure it should start playing on track 20, the recording that I made. I'll hover over pressing stop just in case it isn't. Oh, okay, 22 then, a minute. End. Okay, let's go. Right, so this is definitely at the end. This is where I was recording. Let's turn the amplifier up. Earlier I was doing something else. Right, so this is YouTube music, so I know it's okay. We won't go to content matter on this. I did 2 tracks on, or several tracks, and it obviously got to the end and then went back to the very beginning, but I don't think it actually went right back to the very beginning, but never mind. Right, so I've just checked the recording and it seems to be okay. Right, so here we are, all back together. I've put the tape in, played it through, and just about to try a quick rewind on it. Let me get the other camera. Okay, so now we can press rewind, and hopefully it will rewind back to the beginning with no problem. So I'm thinking basically the answer that what I've done was the tensioning of that drive belt. Probably the drive belt was stretched a bit, so therefore adjusting it with adjusting the motor position seems to have solved it. I guess it was probably just jumping, that's why it was clattering. The drive belt was jumping on the gears. You can see it's rewinding fine all the way back to the beginning of the tape. So hope you've enjoyed this little dive into DAT. I have got another one, a big old Tascam one, which I started to work on way back when I first started the channel. Got part way through, realised it needed a whole load of components, ordered them, then things got changed and I never got around to it, but I will get around to it soon enough. But I mean, it's been there for a while, a few years now, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to get it working, and at least I've got a known good tape I can test it with. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.